Hello, welcome back to CAD for Horticulture. Today, let's talk a little bit about hatching. So hatching is a process where we can use different patterns to fill in space. Hatch is this little button over here. And there's three different kind of hatches. We have hatch, gradient hatch, and boundary. They're all pretty much the same thing. So let's start with the general hatch button. Once you click on that, your ribbon will change. And we can choose whether we're going to select an object or pick points. Let's go with pick points. Right now I'm set to this ANSI 31 hatch. Let's go ahead and switch this to the solid hatch. So that, I just clicked inside of there. It shows you a preview of what you're going to do. So I can click into here, and then when I'm done hatching, I can close the hatch creation or just hit escape. So now I'm going to edit this hatch. So if we click on this hatch, the ribbon will change back to our hatch menu, and we can change this into a different type of hatch. Let's go down and change this into concrete. So there we go, and that has changed that into something looking a little bit more like concrete. We have a lot of hatches here. If we click this little down arrow, and then there's this little gray slider, so you can see there's a bunch of hatches. So we'll stay in this concrete. Another thing to know is about hatch scale pattern, or the hatch pattern scale, which makes the scale pattern bigger or larger. So if we go up to like 6, that makes that pattern a little less dense. Again, we can click on it, and we can make it down to 0.5, and it'll be almost black. So let's change it back to, let's go all the way up to 12. So there we have it. And now I'm going to select it one more time, and we can do things like change the angle of the hatch, change the hatch transparency, of whether you can see things underneath it or not. If this is colored a certain color or by layer or by block, just like properties. We can even go down and switch into that gradient hatch. Then it'll give us some more options about what colors we want to choose. One quick note about the hatch using the gradients is that this will print as a raster image. So no matter what your print settings are, this will print as it shows up on the screen if you have a color printer. So I'm going to change this back to my pattern, and we can look at some other neat features here. Associative. So associative, what that means is that if I take this line and I move this line, the hatch will update to wherever I move that line to, unless I break the boundary. What that means is that this is all contained within a boundary of lines. If I bring this line in like that, it no longer updates and it kind of messes up your hatch. It'll give you a little message down here saying hatch boundary associativity removed. So we can undo and bring that back. Just something to be aware of. Hatching is one of the most difficult things that we do in AutoCAD. It's improved a lot, but there's still quite a ways to go. So I'm going to switch over to a more complicated drawing here. So you can see this is my lawn area, and I want to hatch this. So if I were just to come over here, grab hatch, and I'm going to go down and pick even a sand, kind of looks like stippling, and I click into here, it's going to look through every one of my plant symbols, and it's going to be a real mess. So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. By the way, if you ever get a message saying, do you really want to hatch this, and it gives you some outrageous number, say no. That's AutoCAD's way of politely telling you you're about to crash your computer. So I'm going to hit escape, undo, enter. When I'm hatching something this complicated, I want to go in, and I actually have its own layer set up for hatch, L hatch right here. And I'm going to start turning off other layers. So I'm going to turn off perennials, shrubs. By turning off, I actually mean freezing. There we go. So I've reduced that quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and click on the cyan line. See that it's actually under shrubs for some reason. And turn this off as well. Now I have a pretty clean area to work with, so I can go ahead and try to hatch this. I go down and pick my sand. From experience, I know that this looks best with the scale factor of about 5. So I'm going to click inside there. And that is typical of what you're going to find when you try to hatch something, is that it spills out of its boundaries. Some ways to fix this. So I'm just erasing that hatch. Let's go back to the hatch over here. And I'm actually going to click down on this options. It's going to pull up a dialog box. Then I'm going to expand this dialog box. It's kind of the old view. You have a gap tolerance. I'm going to set the gap tolerance to 9 inches or 9 units. And then I'm going to say pick points again from this menu. The hatch boundary is not closed. What do you want to do? I'm going to go ahead and continue hatching this. And there it got a lot better. Now I'm going to divide this space up using a circle. Let's see if I can't find where my hatch is not. So there it's working. And there we go. So now I've created the hatch that I wanted. All I had to do was create this little division line in here. And it read that. Now this is all one hatch. It will have these little lines when you click on it, but that will never show up. So those are my tricks for working with Hatch.